Bonjour, Antoine. I hope you are well, and I want to thank you for sending your numbers and your birth details to me and for trusting me to do your reading. You haven't asked me any questions, so I'm afraid the reading will be a bit more general than I usually like, but I do hope that I can touch on some things that are important to you. There may be some things I talk about that may not make sense at this time, and maybe later on things will actually come to pass. You will understand what I am talking about. Not everything is going to be set in stone. Things happen when the time is right. But it's not a fortune telling exercise. It is about perhaps giving you guidance and also giving you a different perspective on many things in your life. Because sometimes we look at things and we make judgments and they're not always the right judgments. And I think, everyone really has to live at some time with decisions that are bad choices. There are some people who are adventurers who live with their fire and are at home anywhere and nowhere. But other people want the comfort of their own home so that they can rest. Now, I think that you are somebody who can handle stress and pressure. And I would be surprised if you were, you said to me that you are a director of something, maybe a project, maybe a business, because you have that in your auric field. There's a lot of strength in here. And your auric field, and thank you so much for standing against a plain wall, because it does make it so much easier. Your colours are very strong colours, because sometimes I see very pale colours. But you have a lot of fiery red in there, and that doesn't mean anger. It means that you really want to succeed. And I'm sure that you have succeeded to date, but there may be some things that you feel that you need to move on in some ways, because there's sort of quite a lot of palish blue in there. And I think that you are sort of changing as a person. I think you've always been a fair person, and you don't mind taking control if you need to. But I think you are somebody who's got a really good sense of humour. So, I think a lot of people will respect you and like you, because I think that there is something really important that maybe you need to do in this lifetime, because that's why you've been given the strength. Now, as I'm looking at your photograph, you've given me head and shoulders, and I am looking at a colour which is rising up into the blue and red auric field, and that is the most brilliant green. And so action, but empathy too, because you are not a person who would ride roughshod over other people. Because I think, it's something you are really, you don't show all your personality to people, but there's a whole lot more to you, rather than just perhaps giving orders or delegating duties. You are serious at times, but you have that terrific sense of humour. And, there may be some people who don't understand your humour, but I really think that you are somebody who really could just about turn your hand to anything, because you are very, approachable, I think. So I feel that I know it's not always easy for somebody who's born under the sign of Capricorn. I am, so it is interesting, this, but I think in the coming year I feel that there could be some good news for you. And it could be that it could be followed by even better news, because there are things that, you may have heard differing opinions to your own, but I feel that there may have been something that disappointed you a bit, but I think from the end of this year, and certainly in 2019, it's going to be all systems go. Whether it's going to be a new project, or you want to start something different. It may not be a project, but or to just develop what you're already involved with. But I think that it's going to be quite good. I'll be surprised if it isn't. Let's put it that way. So, I think that you have a sturdy personality, and this is why people will trust you. And yet, as I said, you don't actually let everyone get that close to you. There are those who do, and they're really the lucky ones. But there are things that you really, I feel that you need to decide which superpower you'd like to own, and more importantly, how you would use it. Because I think that there are spirit guides around you who will give you what you need. And I think, you're very good at talking and making people understand you. I think that you have been blessed with guidance from elsewhere, and whether it's your spirit guides or maybe somebody else who really helped you at some time. But I think that I know you like to have high standards, and you want to help other people to achieve things. It's not that you want to have to be ruling over everything. You are somebody who is quite open in that way. But I think that you will plant the seeds of new beginnings. And I think that maybe you'll recreate a situation you found yourself involved with maybe last year. But whatever it is, I think that you should truly have the energy and the desire to make a success of whatever you start. So it's a nice thing. And I think that maybe you've got some financial matters that need to finish arranging, and think about what you want to achieve next year. I sense around you that there is a very deep need for love, but you don't always trust people. And I think when you are in love, you really you give your all, and you expect a partner to do the same. But maybe that doesn't always happen, and I hope you haven't come across that yet. I hope that your life has been blessed with love. But I think that maybe you need to be a little careful in the next 2 or 3 years, and don't go overboard or expect anyone else to. Now, there may be something that could be problematic, to put it mildly. I don't think that it doesn't mean to say it'll be impossible for you to do something, but I think if you sort of stay aware and realize that you might have to put a lot of hard work into something, then I think that everything will be all right. I don't know if you have a family or not, but you really have a fondness for the warmth of a loving family. You have a need for it. And I think that you are somebody who really does enjoy perhaps some of the simple things in life. But I look at you, and you are the epitome of success. And that is such a good thing to see in somebody. And the red is that fire to make a success of something. Now, I think that if you rely on good sense and your initiative, ability to react, you can move mountains. I think if you express your inner thoughts, and you might have to think about what you're expressing might mean to other people, but I think you must act really as soon as you can and put your energy to good use. I also think you should trust your intuitions and follow them, because unused energies turn into dead weight, and that only tires you and makes things more difficult. But I think you're going to be renewed, and I really feel that you will be ready to accept something and to enjoy the fruits of your labours, because there's something about you. You could be an author. I don't think you are. I see you more as a director of something, but maybe you're not. But I just feel that you have wonderful expression. And so I think if you use it in the right way, lots of things will come right. And you'll have a wonderful opportunity to rediscover and reevaluate your practical skills. And I think that the same is true for practical talents and skills, because I think that sometimes some of the things you do can bring about very different results. Certain stressful situations will help develop new skills, while others might lose their importance. So test your values and your value system by redefining what is essential and what is inconsequential. You are really elevating the gold that might have been lying in the street and seizing the diamond of life, because your inner wealth will have very new meaning for you, and this will be a good thing. And you are somebody who I feel can be as successful as you want to be, but there may be something that will come to light from someone else. It may be their hidden feelings or omens that they feel. Providence, really, and many other layers of energy are easily stirred. So maybe you need to confront your most overwhelming feelings. I think maybe at the moment you've been dealing with some mood swings, but maybe you can't identify them. But I think that instead of stepping into the picture, you might consider diving in. And really, that could sort of help you. Of course, you could just choose to stand there and be petrified. But your big advantage is your ability to put yourself in the shoes of every living being. Nothing that is human is foreign to you, and you will equally be at home in the past, the present, and the future. And you certainly have and will still learn to move and stand securely on your own feet. You will acquire an expanded ability to recognize what is good, and I think it will encourage you to open your heart and let go of any apprehension you may be feeling at this time. Of course, it's completely up to you whether you do that, but I really feel that you should. So, I think somebody around you has a bit of a secret, and you may be sensing this, and it may irritate you a bit, because you do not like people who do or keep things from you in some ways. But I feel that you're stepping into a year where it feels as if the world can be yours. And you need everyone around you who is dedicated and committed to anything that you ask them to do. I don't know whether you've got any people working for you or not, but I do feel that if you do have a team, that's what they need to be. But I think that you will determine what you want in the very near future. And it might even surprise you. But you, I think, have more ability than most people that I've actually read for. You obviously a very handsome man, but there's something that's shining about you that I think is wonderful. And I just feel that you are destined for really, really good things. And so you should be too, because the energy around you is really good. Now, you do have a capacity for expansive emotions when you allow yourself to. And this is a gift, but sometimes it is a gift that can exhaust you. Sometimes you think your feelings are too strong, and maybe that sometimes they're responsible for some of your disappointments. But, we rarely love or feel too much. The problem is we don't know what to do with feelings and desires. Instead of trying to hold back and minimize your emotions, or find new and permanent objects for love, you need to discover the meaning and the worth of your own life. And I think if you allow your essence to be alive, to be truly you, I think that that will help you to trust your feelings and try to accept your uniqueness. And I think when your feelings come up, look for their meaning. And I think that you will be much happier than perhaps you are, or that you were when you contacted me. So, I mean, you may say to me, "Oh, I don't know what she's talking about," but you'll understand. It will make sense. So, I think that maybe have you been thinking about partnership with anyone? And I think that really you may be feeling strong urges and maybe a tendency to go against the grain, so that you're also continually attempting to keep it within. I think as you strive to fully understand yourself and your world, the way your communication is with others, including any significant partners, if it continues to be mystical and compassionate and strongly feeling toned, that would be good. But intimate connection may have been a major focus in recent weeks, and this implies a revision. And intimacy can mean many things. It could just mean a special sensitivity to other people around you, as well as a better and more profound connection with your own dark places. So, I think really you can use your intuition to connect more deeply within yourself and to understand what you can do to improve everything in your life. So, I think there's opportunism in where you work right now. It may be a good deal, a good offer, and it may lead to deeper and more complicated encounters down the road. If there's anything controversial that needs to be addressed in work, you just might find the right angle or strategy to sort this out. and which may lead to positive transformations or professional opportunities. I think if you plan carefully, that will be good, because I feel that obviously you'll have to think how your actions will impact on others, how your choices may appear to other people, and at the same time, don't be surprised if the universe is encouraging to move forward with your own agenda right now. I think you will have the support of somebody who is influential. And I think that you may then be involved in setting up something which is really quite unique and quite, it's going to expand. So I think that that will be, a good thing for you, because you do need to see your ideas be successfully concluded. So maybe, as you perhaps allow other people in to what you're doing, you might be letting go the need to be in control of everything. And I think that you will be happy to be guided by someone else too. So this gives you a healthy balance between mental and rational modes. And I think that this will be a very good thing for you, because I think that you will certainly see very clearly what can be achieved, both in your professional life and in your personal life. I think that you're quite a passionate person, and whatever, whether it's passionate in love, passionate about the things you do, passionate about freedom, but you'll know that there are some exciting or interesting changes which will take place in your social life. And I think that, there are changes to many friendships, and this will maybe start not next month, but the month after, in October. So, and you'll be ready for it. Excuse my voice. But whatever changes or challenges come up for you, there will be an opportunity for integration and implementation. So I think that you're ready to put certain things in action. Certainly September is going to be a busy month for you. So I feel, I don't know if you have children, you may notice that they're changing rapidly, or that they have issues of independence and defiance. But to be honest, I think that you may find that you have to spend a lot of money on children, if that is the case, if you have them. But I think that, fate will be illuminating your career, and it will bring wisdom and fairness. And I think you will really refine your professional life and your general sense of calling and destiny. And there are going to be, some substantive opportunities for advancement. So make sure you don't miss anything, because this time is a very important time. No matter what has happened up till now, it really doesn't matter. Just learn from it. And, you can put things right, and you can really advance other things. You may be faced with some personal decisions or challenges. Yes, of course. And this could be to the work-home life balance. But to be honest, you can integrate them. But you'll have to change something within yourself in able to do this. You can't really encourage other people to change until you have. So just take a little time to get clear within yourself about who you are and who you are not, what you can do and what you cannot take responsibility for, and what will or what won't in the long run give you happiness. Even if things don't go exactly as planned, you will have done the hardest work and you will have achieved a most important result. It's really quite amazing, actually, when you sort of think about it. And so I think that you can really bring something into your life. You've got to truly understand what you're capable of. And you're capable of so much, and you were born to bounce back. And it may be you might be thinking that your whole life has been like a roller coaster ride, a crazy quilt of successes and setbacks, high times and low times. But I think that you have a good spirit. Resilience is your middle name. I think no matter what has happened, you can simply pick yourself up and start all over again, because you can be the most enthusiastic person, and you love to experience new kicks, and I think that this is part of the reason people respect you and like you. You have an unusual way of living your life, and I know you've got to occupy a position of authority, because in a way you're naturally bossy, but you're good at setting a good example because you work very hard. So, I think there's, a lot of great things about you. And I think that you are somebody who is at your best when you are starting something new. And I honestly feel that, it's quite true what they would say about you. I know better because you do. I think that what is tangible excites you more than anything ethereal or metaphysical. And you cherish experience. And although truthfully there are no hidden depths to your character, you're not a complicated person. You're straightforward and direct. But I think that there's something about you that you just do not let everyone know what you're like. I think that you will always appear attractive and beautifully turned out. And you can be very sociable. And I have to say, wickedly magnetic. I really have to say that. So I think that maybe you like having attention, but I feel, there are perhaps more authentically fascinating people on this planet than you, but somehow you've got a scintillating personality, and your ever-present aura of chic and hip is enchanting. For you, nothing is lukewarm. And I think that you, everything to you is either great or terrible. But, you don't do anything by halves. And I think that it's a strange thing. I would to really laugh at this. You may change careers at 30, 40 or 50. You may even decide to become a brain surgeon or a tightrope walker. No, you have no sense of the impossible. And I really like that about you. But for you, life is to be lived. And not everybody will understand that. But you know that you can make your own luck. And this is so important to you. And to be honest, I feel that, if anyone comes to you with a secret, they will know that you know how to keep that. And because you don't want your own secrets revealed. And this is why I said you rarely divulge much private information. But I think also you're not easily fooled. And I think as you listen to this reading, you'll be judging me. And, as I look at you, Antoine, I think your intelligence is penetrating. And I think your mind is cautious and skeptical. And you're shrewd. But I feel that you can see through anything. And so I feel that, you are somebody who is going to make an impression on this world. And I think that maybe you are suspicious of idealism and wary of vapid dreams. I think that you are attracted to the tangible. So I think your genius is to innovate within a given structure. And I think that you are somebody who's very demanding of yourself, but you can really get that success up and running, and then you will have time to perhaps explore the magic in this world and the metaphysical as well as the tangible. I know that you can be a bit impatient with people who have no ambition or grit, and you can be exasperated by people who really do not want to try. And I can understand that because you've got so much red energy in you. It is a fantastic thing to see. But I hope you have got romance in your life, because I feel somebody should experience being romantic with you and, being perhaps a partner to you. And I think that, you would make people happy, but they'd have to get used to you getting on with work all the time. But because I think that you would be loyal, and definitely you would show your affection. And so sometimes I think you get anxious, thinking about your health, because there are times you have implacable nervousness because your only mode is full speed ahead, and tension is your full-time companion and enemy number one. And maybe there are times, despite what I've said about your private life, that could be in a permanent spin. But you've got to make sure that you do not self-destruct. You must wonder how you keep from exploding or falling ill or having a heart attack. But, if you do feel ill, you refuse to think about it. You're one of those. And you will resist fatigue. And you're never a malingerer. You may sigh and complain and moan, but you never give up. And I think that you are setting examples to other people. When I look at you, excuse me, I've got a sore throat, I'm sorry. You have chronic ailments that will plague you and will be systemic and internal. And I think you'd want to consult a homeopath or have acupuncture, things like that, rather than be taking loads of pills. But to be honest, I think that you really, you're far from immune to illness, but I do think that you will just try and ignore it. When I talk about things, it could be ear disorders or chronic sinusitis or, those sort of things, and tension headaches. Because, I think that you have an oversensitive nervous system. But I honestly think that, there is not too much to worry about, because I think that you would do you will do very well in your life, and it will be, a good life for you, because on the whole, I do think that you will keep healthy and be really good. To be honest, I feel as long as people don't criticize you, as long as people are honest and true, you will be fine. You just want people to be like you. And I mean, the lucky thing is that you are somebody who really, really can have success in this life. And I think maybe at the moment your energy level will be at a high point. I think you'll be ambitious and in a dynamic phase of your life. You're not afraid to step into a risk in some ways. I think that you have a good ability to motivate others. And I think you have little patience with bureaucratic obstacles or inefficiency. And, I think that you do have sufficient tact and diplomacy to successfully implement any reforms you want to make. So I think you're likely to make many minor changes in your life. And, this is an especially good time for creative work. When I say creative work, I'm not just talking about maybe using something in the craft area or actually drawing or things. It can be creative by thinking of ideas. So I feel that if you follow your instincts, they really draw on deep subconscious sensitivities, and I think that they are usually very accurate. And if you want to develop personal relationships and friendships, it's a good time, because there'll be some interesting conversations between you. And I think that even somebody who might have had an icy wall to you, I think that will melt, and I think that really this will be a good time. Any business or professional associations, any business dealings will be benefited at this time. And if you have business meetings with anybody, they will be imbued with a positive, harmonious atmosphere that fosters good understanding. If you are going to sign any contracts or have any contracts signed, they're likely to work out very successfully for everyone. So there's an awful lot going to be going on towards the end of this year and next year. And when things start going right, like that for your work, I think that there are times when you might change directions and begin a new promising line of endeavor. You might do two things in one, at once. And so, but I think that you may be sort of starting to understand that there are more things in this world than we actually see. And maybe you want to learn more about it. And, people are coming to understand that the realities that we see, that we exist in, is really a very low density vibration. And so it sort of keeps us in prison, and we can't see beyond what is the reality that we are given, because the true reality is much more beautiful than the one we see. A lot less testing and anxiousness and anxiety. It's different again, but it keeps us sort of under the thumb in some ways. But I'm wondering if you're thinking of moving to a new location. Maybe it's totally different from the world you're accustomed to. Um, Maybe you've done that, or maybe you're just thinking about it. But I have to say, you might feel unsettled and somewhat insecure, even if the change is positive and one you desired. But it'll liberate you from the past and from outdated conditioning. So I think that really you will find that money and possessions will come to you. So they will probably be less important to you. And I think that you will not have to worry so much about financial matters. And that is a really good thing. So I think that, you are going to change, and whatever you have to deal with, whatever's deep inside you, you will bring it to the light of day. And there will be new power and confidence in your ability to meet the world. And I'm not just saying that, I really feel that. So I don't know if you would have any debts. I mean, if you own businesses, you probably always have some. But you will take great strides into paying off any debts you may have and to gain financial and material security. And I think that it's a good time for making long-term investments. And, it will really serve you well in the future. Travel, I think, is going to be important to you, and but you're going to be very selective as to where you travel to. And it could be that you travel to another place in Europe for work or something, but it's coming to be a very interesting year next year. And I think that there will be some unexpected changes in your lifestyle. And it's like the dead wood gets cleared out of your life. It's amazing. It's like as if, well, your thoughts do create your reality. And I think that's what will be happening to you. And if you've worked in a particular line of business, you may break into a new one. And you might be thinking, why is this happening? It's because it's part of your destiny. So I think that, you've got to go with the flow, because actually you do have positive developments in your career in business and professional pursuits. So more money is coming into you, and I think that there could be an opportunity to advance, which may present itself to you. But if it doesn't present itself, then apply yourself towards attaining a goal that you might have just had in mind. And, you might have a good stroke of luck now. But things don't just fall into your lap. You do have to keep an eye open for things and go for them. So I think you're going to be quite happy next year. You will feel confident and ambitious. And I see you watching athletic events. I don't know whether you are athletic yourself, but it's going to be a year to simply enjoy life. And you will find it so easy to put any worries or concerns to the side. And because things will be going so well in your business, your working life, that you can do these things, and that will make you feel really, really good. So I think you have to revel with the things that the universe has in store for you. And through an encounter that you may have, you could discover a kind of strength or a passion that may surprise you. And you'll suddenly realize, really, that you have powerful allies and you can draw out other people's strengths. So you've resented maybe some of the past choices that you've made, or even some of the alliances that you've had. But you will clear that, because It will clarify your current desires and intensity to your resolve and your purpose. And you can regenerate your physical health, because if you're happy, your health will be good. So I think you've got to recognize what's ahead of you if you want it. And I'd love it if you were a bit more playful and feeling that things are going to go well, because benefits will flow to you. And well, they should. And to me, it should be next year. I've said things might happen a little later than that, but I just think that there are things to share with others, and that is happiness. And I feel you will make other people feel rather good. And you might be a bit more serious at the moment, but that's because you're going through this sort of process. And I feel that you're learning about yourself. So I think that maybe rather than confusion about money and possessions, it's going to change. And I think in some ways, spiritual knowledge might become more important to you throughout the next cycle, because you'll start to believe, and you're going to be starting to access your higher self. And you are in a profoundly transformative period. And I think that you will be reclaiming your power of self-determination. So, whatever it is you do, you will solidify your position and strengthen your base. And if you invest in what is most valuable, whether it's education, family, or leaving something for a future generation, you need to think now long term. This will be, a good thing. And I feel that, your name it has a wonderful energy around it. And I think as you change and you marry your vision and hope and inspiration into your action, this is where the change starts taking place. You might well begin a new enterprise, and I think it should do you well. If you are involved in any sort of legal dispute, now is the time to resolve it. You are very clever, and you would be able to do this, and you may fare much better than you expect. So I think it's going to be amazing 2 or 3 years for you. And I think that as you circulate and get back in touch with people you haven't heard from for a while, you really will see that maybe even gifts come from unexpected sources. And I honestly feel that you are going to be really in demand in many ways. And I think that you should enjoy this period of your life, because you're building that foundation, and it will be good. Because you're still a young man, you're only in your 40s, aren't you? But you've had previous success, and you should look over the fruits of that success and appreciate them. So I think that you will be in conscious control of what you do. And I feel that, it's just such a good time for you in many ways. Maybe the things have taught you to have a good understanding of how you look at life. And, it'll work well enough that you won't have to truly question it. But there's only you can do that. You may decide not to, but it's only you. I'm telling you what is possible, but it will be really up to you to make these things probable. So I feel that you can get results, and you're coming under a wonderful influence which will favor business and professional activities. And I think that I can see you planning something. You may be planning projects and details of them, and you're going to impress a number of people. And I don't think that you will have as many obstacles as you have had in the past. You're quite an individual, and so I think that you need to believe in yourself like that, and stop thinking that, when obstacles come, what's this going to beat me? What's the point? There's every point, because I think that you're being given energy from the universe in a way that you perhaps have never thought possible. And you'll start to realize that, when you start to respond more quickly to people around you, and you are more willing to challenge life. So I think that, there may be some sudden new contacts with others that could provide opportunities to branch out and do things you've never done before. And as I've said to you, a chance to travel. It's as if a lot of things are changing around you, and this will be good. You might even act as a bit of a guru to someone else, because you would find joy in empowering other people. I don't know if you have anything to do with education at all, but if you do, you'd be a marvelous influence there. So I think that now is the time to do what you want to do, to really move forward in the way that you want to, because anything that's unsatisfactory needs to go. But you will meet someone who will sort of inspire an interest in spiritual or mystical philosophy, and you may be totally amazed at this. So, I don't want you to develop a feeling of false happiness, but it's a good thing to learn, to experience. And I think that you will start to feel much more empathetic to other people. And somehow you will start to know things. And this will be really the most wonderful gift that the universe will ever give to you. So, I've got to stop now. I hope I've spoken clearly enough and slowly enough for you to understand me. I wish I could speak French. I know very, very little French. I could say to you, je m'appelle Carol. But that's all. I could just about order a cup of coffee. But I went to Paris, in the early 80s. I went twice because I used to work in an educational establishment. And I thought Paris was enchanting. And I went twice. And I was supposed to go again, and I became quite ill and couldn't go. And it was so wonderful to see what it was like then. I don't know what it's like now. The world has become, a very dangerous place. But we also went into Normandy, and that was beautiful too. I just loved it. And actually, I believe that my great-great-grandmother came from Bordeaux. I don't know, but that's what the story goes in the family. Anyway, it's been lovely to meet you, and I do hope this reading will, hold something for you, and that you can, understand the things that I've talked about. So, thank you once again for letting me work with your energy. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Bye bye for now. Bye bye.